Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV AM News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Fauziye Lukman. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his renewed and energized focus on delivering his vision of a unified, peaceful and prosperous nation. Following the judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja, this was contained in a statement signed by Ajuri Ngilali, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity. The President recognizes the diligence, undoubted thoroughness and professionalism of the five-member bench led by Justice Haruna Amani in interpreting the law, affirming that his commitment to the rule of law and the unhindered discharge of duties by the tribunal, as witnessed in the panel's exclusive respect for the merits of the petitions brought forward, further reflect on the continuing maturation of Nigeria's legal system and the advancement of Africa's largest democracy at a time when our democracy system of government is under test in other parts of the continent. The President believes the presidential candidates and political parties have had lawfully exercised their rights by participating in the 2023 general elections and judicial process which followed, have affirmed Nigeria's democratic credentials once more. President Tinubu thanks Nigerians for the mandate given to him to serve the country while promising to meet and exceed their expectation by the grace of God Almighty and through a very diligent hard work with the team that has been put in place for the sole purpose. The Nigerian Labour Congress on Wednesday asked workers under its affiliation union to return to work on Thursday. This is coming after the end of the union's two-day warning strike, which it claimed was meant to draw the attention of government to the hardship being faced by Nigerians as a result of the petrol subsidy removal. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, PEPT, has struck out the evidence of 10 out of the 13 witnesses called by Peter Obi and the Labour Party LP in support of their petition against the election of President Bola Tinubu. In a judgment delivered September 6th, the court held that the witnesses who were subpoenaed at the instance of the petitioners had written their statement, which contained their evidence, were not filed along with the front line with the days allowed by the Electoral Act 2022. Judith Peters has the details. President Bola Tinubu has commended Indian investors for significant investment pledges amounting to nearly $14 billion committed during the Nigerian-India Presidential Roundtable and Conference in New Delhi, India, saying Nigeria is ready to give them the best returns of investment possible. There is nowhere else like Nigeria. Judith Peters tells us more.
The court, in the lead judgment currently being read by Justice Haruna Amani, also rejected the document, including the report of analysis tendered by the petitioners through the affected 10 witnesses. The court also held that some of the witnesses are not only persons with interest in the outcome of the case. The reports that tendered were made during the pendency of the case. The court also dismissed the Labour Party's 25% FCT vote claim, stating that the FCT
Is the right of every such citizen to elect with their votes their president, whose policies are supposed to and will affect all of them equally, regardless of which part of the country they reside or live. So even stopping here, the futility and hollowness in the argument of the petitioners that the votes of the voters in the FCT, Abuja, have more weight than other voters in the country, to the extent of their votes purportedly have a veto effect on other votes, is rendered bare.
The ruling was made in response to a petition filed by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi, who challenged the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Obi and LP had argued that Tinubu should be disqualified from being president because he did not win 25% of the votes cast in the FCT.
The Presidential Election Petition Court has dismissed the suit of the Allied People's Movement, APM, seeking to nullify President Bola Tinubu's election. The court, in its ruling delivered in Abuja on Wednesday, dismissed the petition for lacking in merit and being incompetent. Chairman of the panel, Justice Haruna Samani, who read the judgment, held that the prayers the AMP raised in its petition contained pre-election matters that could only be determined by the Federal High Court. Aquasandra completes the report.
The president also approved the finalization of a new $1 billion agreement to bring the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria to 40% self-sufficiency in the local manufacturing and production of defense equipment in the country by 2027 through a comprehensive new partnership with the managing arm of the military-industrial complex of the Indian government, emphasizing that under his pragmatic leadership, agreement must now manifest in industries and jobs on the ground in Nigeria. President Tinubu expressed gratitude to all Indian companies and individuals who have responded positively to his administration's efforts to improve Nigeria's macroeconomic and investment climate.
It is in your hand, and I promise you, just don't keep quiet. Don't procrastinate. Don't be frightened about investments in Nigeria. Bring it home. Ask your questions. Make your requests. The trade and investment opportunity is enormous. I have a team, and I am the captain of that team. I assure you, we solve problems.
On behalf of investors, the chairman of Bharti Enterprises, Sunil Bharti Mittal, told the president Nigeria has unified the FX market and freed up crucial capital to upgrade its public infrastructure. He says the investors will bring investment to Nigeria, and with President Tinubu's inspiring leadership style, they can only do more and more.
I'm deeply touched by your openness, by your invitation to call Indian businessmen to set up businesses in Nigeria. Importantly, to tell them that you are there to listen to their problems and that you, as the captain of the country, will resolve those issues for the benefit of all Nigerians as well as the investors.
Also at the event, Nigeria's Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosu Tijani, and his counterpart from India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology signed a memorandum of understanding for cooperation in the field of sharing successful digital solutions to be implemented at total population scale for digital transformation. President Tinubu further assured investors to finalize on the next steps to ensure that no environmental encumbrance stands in the way of their success in Nigeria.
The Presidential Election Petition Court on Wednesday struck out some paragraphs containing allegations and irregularities and corrupt practices by Peter Obi in his petition, challenging the declaration of Bola Tinubu as winner of the February 25th presidential election. The five-member panel struck out the affected paragraphs on the grounds that they were vague and imprecise, vague and failed to meet the requirement of pleadings. According to the ruling, in a case of alleged malpractice in over 500 polling units, it does not suffice for the petitioners to see some polling units or collation centers without being specific. Justice Mohammed further faulted the petitioners for relying on the spreadsheet analysis, inspection result, and experts' report. According to Mohammed, such documents ought to have been served on the respondents to enable them to do their own analysis and respond accordingly. Minister of Works David Umahi has directed that the failed portions of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway Sections 3, Enugu-Lupatan in Enugu State, should be redesigned with concrete pavement. The minister stated this at the inspection of the road, which marked the beginning of his Southeast Road inspection tour, scheduled to take place throughout the week, starting from Tuesday 5th September to Saturday 9th of September 2023. Umahi reaffirmed the construction work on the federal road must be done right to avoid coming back to redo an already completed work. He commented on some portions where the binder wearing has been completed but has now failed. The minister pointed out that some portions of the express inspected so far needs urgent and immediate attention, and directed the director in charge of Southeast Geopolitical Zones, Bede Obioha, from the ministry to come up with recommendations for the accomplishment of his directives. The Kogi State Election Petition Tribunal has declared Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as the winner of the Kogi Central Senatorial election held in February. It also invalidated the victory of Senator Abubakar Ohere of the All Progressive Congress (APC). The tribunal chairman, Justice K.A. Ojiako, delivered the unanimous judgment of the three-man panel, revealing that Senator Ohere's results were inflated in 9 polling units in the Ajaokuta local government area. He added that the Independent National Election Commission reduced Natasha's result in those areas and omitted the result of 3 other polling units meant for Natasha in the same local government. A major division between the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) has led a partial compliance in the 2-day warning strike declared by Nigerian workers over the delay in the implementation of the palliatives around by the federal government to cushion the effects of its removal of fuel subsidy. Across the states of the Federation, the TUC and NLC took opposition positions at the strike, which is slated to continue today. The TUC said it opposed the strike because it would not yield the desired result. Its chairman in Cross River State, Comrade Mohammed Ogbodun, commended the 2-day warning strike embarked upon by leadership of NLC, describing the leadership of the NLC as insensitive. The federal government has said it will be engaging terminal operations for the rehabilitation of the $800 million, equivalent to 593 billion naira, ports in the Apapa, Tinkan, and others. The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, said this on Monday when he was led on a familiarization visit to the Apapa and Tinkan Island ports by the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, and his management team. However, reacting to this, Oyetola said the port was almost collapsing, adding that the reconstruction would commence soon. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, on Wednesday has assured the public of safety following the minor electrical fault at the old terminal of the Mohammed Murtala Airport, International Airport, MMIA, Lagos. In a press statement, the Director, Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Yakubu Funtua, said suspected electrical spark at the baggaging hall ceiling caused a smoke incident, resulting in a fire scare. Prompting response from the Andronym Rescue and Firefighting Services of the airport and the electrical department of the authority saved the situation. Yakubu Funtua, however, stated that the situation has been put under control. The ad hoc committee constituted by the House of Representatives to investigate the activities of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority since its inception has hailed the management of the NSIA over its interventions in the healthcare sector. The number of the commitment commended the NSIA during an oversight visit at the NSIA Lot Cancer Center in Lagos State on Monday. The visit was for the members of the committee to inspect and review the projects undertaken by the NSIA and their impact on the Nigerian economy, adding that the key areas of focus were healthcare, infrastructure, and agriculture. As a result, the NSIA Healthcare Development Investment Company was established to catalyze private sector's investment to address the infrastructure gaps in the healthcare sector, improving manpower and forge strategic collaborations and advance healthcare indicators in the country. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris says Nigeria is respected globally on account of President Bola Tinubu's stand for the ideals of democracy. In a statement on Tuesday, Idris says as chairman of the Economic West African States, ECOWAS, Tinubu has raised profile of Nigeria by promoting the rule of law and seeking to reverse the toppling of a democratic government in the neighboring Niger Republic. Meanwhile, signs of this concept within the Nigerian armed forces are mounting. Soldiers. Both non-commissioned officers and officers do not feel supported or protected by the junta's general. The non-commissioned soldiers are believed to be more concerned with protecting their financial interests and their already shaken footing in the power than with defending the interests of their subordinates. No longer listening to their men, the junta is alleged to be increasing isolatedly while popular anger rumples. You're watching Global TV AM News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When AM News return, CBN repays banks next week. Naira may rebound as Apex banks clear dollar debt. We have these details and other stories right after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back, and if you're just watching us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the AM News from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Flooding caused by heavy rain has led at least 10 deaths in Bulgaria, Turkey, and Greece. In Bulgaria, pictures from the Sarajevo area showing fast-moving flood waters deep enough to submerge cars. Rivers overflow and authorities were working to evacuate tourists from a campsite at Arapia, just outside Sarajevo. A bridge collapsed south of the town, and there were reports that 3 people who had been on it at the time were missing. Environment Minister Julius Popov says Bulgaria would have to expect more serious and more frequent rainfall in the future because of its climate change. Water cascaded through the street in Turkey's biggest city, Istanbul, washing away cars and trapping people in a local library. A building collapsed on Wednesday, killing 4 Egyptians from the same family in a Cairo neighborhood, where a small tragedy occurred earlier this summer. 5 people were also injured when the 4-story building fell in a street in the working-class Hadayak al-Koba district. Several structures have collapsed in the recent years in Egypt, leaving numerous victims because of their dilapidated condition, as well as lack of respect for planning laws. Ukrainian lawmakers on Wednesday approved President Volodymyr Zelensky's nomination of Rustem Umerov, a Crimean Tatar, as Kyiv's new defense minister after resignation of Oleksiy Reznikov. The 41-year-old's appointment marks a significant change for Ukraine more than a year and a half into Russia's invasion and follows corruption scandals in the defense ministry. Zelensky nominated Umerov for the role, calling for a new approach in Ukraine's defense ministry. The acting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Foloshodun Shonobi, has said the Apex Bank will repay banks all outstanding forward contract debt in the next 1 or 2 weeks, although he did not disclose the total amount of the outstanding dollar debt as reported by JP Morgan. A United States-based bank in a recent report put the total amount of forwarded contract debt owed by the CBN at $6.84 billion. Shinobi, who spoke in Lagos, said there is no outstanding $7 billion as claimed by JP Morgan. It was just an opinion that they were put on paper and many people jumped on it. Shinobi, while reaffirming the CBN's ongoing intervention in the market, emphasized its commitment to stabilizing exchange despite the contributing less than 25% of the market volume. While on sport, Sunday's African Cup of Nations qualifier against Sao Tome and Principe at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo will Jose Peseiro 10th game as Super Eagles head coach, over a year after he took charge of the team. The Portuguese tactician took up his role as the Eagle coach following his resignation as Venezuela's manager in 2021. The Nigerian Football Federation announced the appointment of Peseiro as the new coach of the Super Eagles May 15, 2022, replacing Austin Eguavoen, who returned to his technical director role at the Federation. For more updates on sport, let's join Sharon Ajay.
Team Nigerians weightlifters departed Nigeria yesterday for the 2023 International Weightlifting Federation (IWF) Championship in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after being in camp for 2 months. The lifters comprise of 4 females and 2 males who would be representing the country to feature in the World Championship from 4th to 7th September 2023. The head coach of Nigerian Weightlifting Federation (NWF), Ojadi Aduche, said that the championship would serve as a qualifier for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, France. Elsewhere, former World 100-meter hurdles champion Tobi Amusan and 400 meters hurdler Ezekiel Nathaniel have secured their spot at next year's Olympic Games in Paris, France. Last December, World Athletics had revealed the pathway to qualify for the athletics at Paris 2024, including the entry standard athletes will need to achieve. Amusan is the first Nigerian to secure a place at the Games, subject to confirmation at Nigerians Championship in 2024. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Well, that's it on Global TV AM News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. On behalf of the production, I am Fauziya Lukman, thanking you so very much for watching. Do have a great morning.